It's now my pleasure to introduce the person greatly responsible for the photographic exhibition, which is in the North Hall here, David Sherman, Transfer of Memory, Minnesota Holocaust Survival Portrait Project. Thank you, David.
Steve, thank you, and greetings. It's an honor to be on the program today with so many distinguished elected officials and speakers. Colonel Shames, thank you for being here today. I have wanted to make portraits of Holocaust survivors for as long as I can remember. As a 10-year-old, I remember the dedication of the Holocaust Memorial in Sioux City, Iowa, where I grew up. I remember the survivors crying out, wailing in pain. It was just 25 years since the end of Nazi terror in Europe. I had no context for understanding the raw emotion I was witnessing. As a 10-year-old, the Holocaust seemed so academic, so far away. Still, I remember thinking that I could not comprehend what was it that scarred those souls so deeply to elicit such response and such sadness. Transfer of Memory is my attempt to understand those scarred souls. The urgency for this project is so clear. Our survivor community is aged and aging. The number of living survivors is becoming fewer and fewer. It is important for me to ensure that survivors are remembered in a respectful and beautiful way, by face, by name, and by story. Today we stand at a critical time in regard to the Holocaust, almost 70 years since the end of the war. We are in the midst of a transfer of memory. The witness to the horrors, hardships, and brutalities of the Holocaust is shifting from those who saw and survived to a retelling of their testimony. We are shifting our focus from the power and reliability of sight and personal experience to the trustworthiness and importance of hearing. It is my hope and prayer that these images add an important visual proof to accompany the oral testimony. We visited each survivor in their homes. Everyone was interviewed and videotaped prior to making their portrait. The exhibit behind us features 35 portraits of survivors living or who lived in the Twin Cities. The color images depict the survivors as living full and fulfilled lives, full of life and vitality, not defined by victimhood. Working in the survivors' homes contributed so positively to the project. Immediately I sensed something special happening. To see their life's mementos, the photographs of families, past and present, many their Holocaust relics. We were allowed into the survivors' lives. The only word I can use to explain it is holiness. In Hebrew, we call it kadosh. I felt as if we were welcomed into a makom kadosh each time, a holy place. The survivors raised the tenor of the project from the everyday or mundane to the kadosh, the holy. Interestingly, what struck me during the project is the personal responsibility I had unknowingly taken on. To make beautiful, respectful, honest portraits is what I try to do every day. The survivors I worked with on this project demonstrated to me what the concept of holiness is really all about. I set out to document a shrinking group of Jews, Holocaust survivors, and ended up experiencing holiness. I am humbled. It became apparent that mine would likely be the last portrait made of some of the participants. As an artist, as a person, it is difficult for me to express my feelings about this. To find meaning, I frequently go back to the transfer of memory language, the shift from the power and reliability of sight and experience to the trustworthiness and importance of hearing. There is an old saying that goes like this. It says, "A photograph is worth 1,000 words." As a photographer, I say, maybe. In the case of the transfer of memory, it would be much less powerful and important without the words which accompany each image. Lily Chester's difficult work listening and watching my poorly constructed interviews and distilling themes and meaning in the survivors' own words is so integral to the impact of the exhibit. As I conclude, I would like to once again publicly thank the JCRC for their continued support of the Transfer of Memory project. Today's exhibit would not exist without the JCRC's financial, professional support, and direction. Most of all, I say thank you to all the survivors who were brave enough to tell their stories and sit in front of my camera. You have made an indelible mark on me. I will forever be humbled to have had the opportunity to make your portraits and share your stories. I will remember you forever. Thank you.
Thank you, and we'll now have the honor of concluding with one of our precious survivors, Eva Gross, who was a survivor from Minnesota, who together with her mother survived deportation from their small Hungarian town, 6 concentration camps including Auschwitz, forced labor, death marches, and finally liberation. As you're about to discover, she's full of life, has made a wonderful home in Minnesota and a family, and is a great testament to the will of the human spirit. So Eva, please come forward.
Well, good afternoon. Can you hear me? First of all, I'd like to thank David for the beautiful portrait that he have shown, and also JCRC for the opportunity that I could address you today. As you heard, I was only 16 years old. I come from a very small town where there is only 50 Jewish families live in Hungary. And in 1944, in April, the Hungarian government deported us to Auschwitz. We went on a train, on those cattle trains. We went to Auschwitz, and we were separated from our families. My mother and I survived because there was one inmate who came to us. I was holding on to my mother, and he must have noticed it, and he came to us and he said, you know, if you are families, mother or daughter or sisters, use different names, because otherwise you will be separated. So I used my father's name, my mother used her maiden name, and we were all able to survive the camps together. As you heard, we were in 6 camps during the year. We were in the concentration camps 1 year. We were twice in Auschwitz. We were in Krakow, Plaszow. We were in Wiener Neustadt, Grosingen, and we were liberated in Bergen-Belsen. And under the conditions what you heard before, that was absolutely horrible situation. My main purpose here today is to remind you that we should concentrate on being, to love instead of hate, and also that we should always remember what was happening, and then we should emphasize on the importance of situations like today, that we should also keep on talking about it, that never should be forgotten, and people should it never happen to anybody else what it happened to me. I lost my whole family. My mother and I survived because we were all together and we were supporting each other all to the times, but we were in the camps. I lost my mother 2 years ago, and we went through all that terrible situation, but she was able to live. She would be almost 101 years old when she passed away, and we are very grateful for being in the United States. And I do a lot of speaking engagement. I talk to universities, and I talk to high schools and some junior highs, community centers, churches, and I always emphasize one thing, that we should always think about hate, what hate could do to human beings. And we should try to eliminate hate from our vocabulary and from our life. How much better the life could be if we would preach love instead of hate. And nobody is born with hate. Everybody is born innocent. And hate is required by environment, by talking, and we should try to think about us. Everybody is a human being. If you're Jewish or you are Muslim or you are a Catholic or anything, we all should live together in harmony. And I think that is my thing to tell you, that's how I feel that we should live our life. And then another thing, our Holocaust survivors who are here, I would really emphasize to you, if you have a chance to talk about the Holocaust, please do so, because when I go to these high schools, and I'm so surprised that these children don't know anything about the Holocaust. When I finish with my presentation, they all come to me and thanking me for informing them what is happening. And some of them come and tell me that they feel that, they feel that my presentation made them think how well they are, even though are not so, even though they feel sometimes that they are underprivileged or they not having everything what they want, that how much better they are. And one more thing, which will be my conclusion, is that people who are born in the United States and live here, with all the politics, all the bad things that we're talking about, it's happening, there is no country in the world that offers you the freedom and the opportunity what the United States offers. And I am very grateful that I am part of the United States of America.
Thank you, Eva. And if everyone could sit down for 1 second for one more reason, because I would like, if possible, and a little assistance is okay, if all the survivors would now stand up here at the end. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to our dear state and our dear state capitol for this opportunity to commemorate International Holocaust Remembrance Day. Thank you to the Minnesota National Guard and all of our friends that are here with us. I bid you a wonderful afternoon, and may we go from peace to peace in our lives. Thanks so much.